Using the information presented on the previous PN calculation videos, we are now going to apply those principles to a question in order to determine if we have been provided with enough data to calculate the number of carbohydrate grams within the given scenario. Before we dive into the question, we want to identify a very important point in regards to lipid emulsions. If hung separately, that is, it is not part of a 3-in-1 solution, or otherwise known as a total nutrient admixture or TNA, it is important that the emulsion does not hang longer than 12 hours max, with a time frame of no more than 10 hours for a single emulsion actually being recommended. Now, on to the question. Your patient is receiving 76% of their non-protein calories from carbohydrates. A separate lipid emulsion is hung once per 24-hour period and supplies 500 kcal. So is this enough information to determine the total number of carbohydrate grams? The answer is yes. We specifically just made the point about the lipids to try to bring to your attention how important wording can be when it comes to the questions. The question states that an emulsion is hung once per 24 hours. Do not assume that it means that it takes 24 hours for an administration to take place. All it means here is that the patient receives lipids once per day, supplying 500 kcal. So it is not problematic, and this can be properly solved. Another important note, slight variations in wording can have a big impact on the question and answer outcome. It is imperative that you do not make any unnecessary assumptions. We will test you on this and try to point out the variations when they do occur. Okay, back to the question. First, break out the givens. Carbohydrate represents 76% of the non-protein kcals. Lipids make up 500 kcals. Since we know the number of calories from lipids as it is a given at 500, we can find out the percentage of non-protein calories these represent. Carbohydrates and lipids are the only two sources of non-protein calories in parenteral nutrition. So if carbohydrate represents 76%, then lipids must make up the other 24%. Remember, non-protein calories are the calories that come from just carbohydrates and lipids. We do not need to know how many protein calories they are receiving, nor their total caloric needs, for we already have determined that we have enough information to solve. So let's set up the equation in order to solve. The total of non-protein calories is equal to the number of calories supplied by the nutrient divided by the percentage of those nutrient calories that they represent. Set y equal to the total number of non-protein calories. Fill in the number of calories supplied, which is 500 and was a given for the lipids, as well as the percent non-protein calories that this represents, which is 24 or 0.24. This is the first value that we had solved for. Now, solve for y and you get the total non-protein calories at 2083. But we are not done yet. To finish solving, first determine what 76% of this value is. The easy way would be to just subtract the 500 calories, which represents 24%, or you can multiply this total value by 76%, and either way would work. But let's just subtract out 500 from 2083 to get 1583. These are your carbohydrate calories. Do not forget on these long problems what the question is asking for. We need to answer this question in grams. So 1583 divided by 3.4 kcals per gram for parenteral nutrition carbohydrate. And finally, our answer is a rounded 466 carbohydrate grams. Our next video will add the final piece by showing how to solve for protein. We realize that through the course of this particular series that we have touched upon this concept, but the next video will focus on it entirely. RDStudy.com video tutorials are produced and owned by Nutrition News Network, LLC. Any copying, reuse, or redistribution, in full or in part for any purpose without the written consent of Nutrition News Network, LLC, is prohibited. All rights reserved.